And my name is Tshegohaco Moagi as we usher in another conversation with an eminent woman. Welcome to Conversations with Eminent Women. We are together for the next hour, so do stay tuned for what we have for you this afternoon. Looking forward, of course, to also hearing from you as you send through your comments and questions that you may have for our guests today. I suppose we can say we have a bit now of a focus on male-dominated industries. Look, this was not what was planned, but hey, that's where we find ourselves as Conversations with Eminent Women. But we'll definitely be, browsing through various topics. And as I speak about the topics, if there's anything that you think we should be covering, a topic that women are going through, or a specific lady that you would actually like for us to speak to here on Conversations with Eminent Women, remember that you are more than welcome to send us a comment on this very platform or reach out to me, myself, Tshegohaco Moagi, and let me know who you think should actually form part of this very conversation as well. And do that on the social media platforms. It's Tshegohaco Moagi. You can get hold of me there or just send a comment on this very conversation that we're having today about which women you think we need to be featuring on Conversations with Eminent Women. However, if you'd also like to get more information about Conversations with Eminent Women, do reach out to me and I will share that gladly with you as well. A very good afternoon to you. Tsonga Man is already on our case, saying patiently waiting. Yes, Tsonga Man, we have started and we are ready for this conversation with the fabulous Noëlle Makhaukane Ngobeni. She's a graphic designer for Quatre, Saisons graphic designs. And when I tell you that this woman does phenomenal work, and her work is just beautiful, it is elegant, it is always to the T. We are speaking about Noëlle, and she joins us this afternoon. Noëlle, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tshegohaco, for having me.
I mean, we have to first off start off. I mean, I'd love for us to speak about your history and how you got into graphic design and all of that. But ma'am, this name that you have chosen for yourself, what was going on there? Share with us a little bit about the history of this name.
Firstly, it's not graphic design, it's interior design.
Interior
I had to
design.
correct you there. Yes. Graphic design and interior design are two distinct things, totally. But yeah, sure. How it started, it was a bug that I didn't know what it meant at the time. Um, Growing up, I just used to love, organizing and reorganizing my mother's house. You can understand the frustration that she had with me to redecorate her house all the time on school holidays. So it was really a frustration because one is that, you don't expect a child to actually rearrange your house. And then now you have this child who keeps rearranging your house, and she's still quite very young, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And at first, as a parent, you're thinking, this one is too naughty. You actually don't think, there's something in there about them. So yeah, I used to really frustrate my mother about that until eventually when I finished my matric. And when I was at Tshwane University of Technology, browsing through other courses that were offered by the institution, that's when I realized, oh, so there's this thing called interior design, because I used to see there were students who were studying it. So, I got inquisitive, went through into the department, and inquired and asked, what is this? What are you guys doing? And yeah, that's when I was told that's when I actually realized, oh, that's when the nail hit the head that, okay, so this is actually what's been happening to me all these years, because I've been doing it, but I didn't know, there's actually a profession that you can actually go to university and study to be an interior designer and make it a profession.
It finally clicked to you that I've been moving mom's furniture around, and this is actually what I've actually been doing
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time. I
yeah.
know now that you also have children of your own. Have any of them started moving any of your furniture around?
I don't think they have it. They actually have the same neck that I did. But I do involve them in my business as and when, they are available and they have free time. But nah, none of my kids are actually um, interested in, they have their own career path.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's then speak about this name, Noëlle. I mean, you decided, and I think you and I have had a bit of a conversation about this. It's French, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, 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 it's French.
How did you get to that?
Firstly, my name is French as well. So my mother named me Noëlle because I was born on Christmas Eve,
Mhm.
on the 24th of December. So, I just felt for me it would make sense to name my company using a French name, just following up onto my name path. So I just knew that what I wanted to name my company would be Four Seasons in English, obviously. But then I had to ask few friends what few French speaking friends, what is Four Seasons in French? And that's how I came out with the name. So it's Quatre Saisons.
All right, and that was quite
But
simple. I think.
With a French twang, obviously. I don't have a French twang, but yeah.
It sounds very simple enough, Noëlle, for you to say it was because even with your own name, this is, the path that you always, wanted to go with whatever business that you do start. But you started off, of course, I mean, on the humble beginnings of moving things around in your own home, rearranging your mom's furniture to you now being this accomplished, phenomenal businesswoman doing amazing furniture for people or moving, doing the interior design for people and in their homes. Let's speak about how that build up happened. You speak, of course, about being in tertiary. Also, I'm also a TUT alumni. So, we, of course, work extremely hard. But, being in tertiary, completing your studies, and then designing that deciding rather that you want to start your own business. How did that trajectory work out for you? And what was the plan all the time for you to get to where you are now?
Sure. I really will not, I'll never claim that it was easy, that I just immediately jumped to it. Obviously, the passion has always been there, from a young age. Then when I finished my qualification with TUT, I didn't immediately jump to it because one, you can understand that I come from a Black community, and there's no one in one, and that's number one. Number two is that I've never seen anyone do it. So there's no one to model after. So, and now here I am with this qualification in my hand, and I knew that I wanted to do it. But the fear was huge. Firstly, I kept asking myself that who will buy? Who will source my services? You know, are they even Black people who would actually buy from me? Because obviously as you do something, the first people that you would want to rally behind you are your people, right? So they then and all that fear crippled me for a good number of years, actually 15 years. So, but because I had other qualifications, I decided, you know what, I'm just not gonna sit around and let this fear Monga in my head, I actually then decided, let me just go and work. Because I had other qualifications that I could use. I worked for different government departments. I moved through the ranks in there, and then I moved to the NGOs. Yeah, but while I was there, and I felt, look, it's 15 years was a good run, and I've learned so much in corporate that I could actually apply in my own business. And now I started doing a lot of research as I was working. I did quite a lot of research to find out who's doing what, where, in the same space or in the same industry that is interior design in South Africa, and also outside of South Africa. And eventually I took a leap, but it wasn't, an easy shift or easy move for me to just immediately move into the space, even though I knew that I could do the work.
Is it still seen as male dominated? Has it ever been a male dominated space?
It has been a male and white dominated space for quite a long time, but there's quite a huge shift right now. I think since probably I'll say the late 90s. In the late 90s, that's when I could see quite a lot of shift. But still in the 90s, you could see still it will be male. Then you see few black males doing it. And then now you can actually still find that there are women or girls that are actually, I get quite a lot of inquiries from girl children who say, look, my mom saw your work, and I actually would like to follow in your path. I would like to do what you're doing, and I'll take them under my wing, and then I'll mentor them. So then now you actually start seeing there's a huge shift that's coming through from the young generation who are getting interested in this profession. So it's actually up to us to actually, show them the path.
Do you find, Noëlle, that the 15 years that you spent in corporate, in NGOs and so forth, and because of that fear, do you believe, or do you find that it may have either grown you to be the success that you are today, or do you find that that fear was something that held you back so much that you started a little bit later than when you actually should have, or when you wanted to? Or do you believe that you're a bit more comfortable now, to say you can now start a business after 15 years?
I think for me it definitely was never a waste of time, because when you are in corporate, you learn a lot. You learn about management, you learn about administration, you learn about customer relations, you learn about different business functions that you will actually apply in your business should you then start a business. So that's actually my take away from corporate. I don't think it was really a total waste of time, because it actually prepared me to be where I am today, and to be who I am today, and to be the way I'm managing my business today. I always make sure that whenever I serve my client, I am never short of professionalism, which is what I learned in corporate. I make sure that my corporate governance issues and matters are in order. And those are the things that I learned when I was working for corporate. I make sure that all my statutory requirements are in place and they're up to date. And those are the things that I learned in corporate. So it really wasn't a total waste of time. But however, I'll also say that, there's an element also of, oh, I wish I had started earlier. I would have been far, but also, there is also a huge element that I'm still thankful for all the lessons that I gained when I was in corporate, and that I'm applying to date in my business, so that I don't make there's some stupid mistakes that people make when they start out and they have no clue and no idea of how to run a business.
Mhm. And let's then
Yeah.
speak, of course, like you say, you speak about those, the lessons that you learned in corporate, but there must have been when you started out, and perhaps even now, sacrifices that you may have had to make, but also
Mm.
challenges that you may have had to go through to reach this particular stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's been challenges. Sure, some of the challenges that I have faced obviously is having to get the kind of clients that I wish to have, or that I have today. So it's been a I would say on a scale of 1 to 5, those challenges were that I faced, or that the challenges that I faced in the past, are actually what made me to actually improve my business today.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that these challenges actually should not have happened. Even some of the setbacks that I encountered in my business, I would not take them for granted, because they actually shaped my how I approach business going forward.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would still say that it's been worth it. And I'll still do it again if I have to, but obviously I'll do it if I were to start from scratch. I'll do it better than I did it the last time.
Mhm. Let's,
Yeah.
you speak about the clients that you have now, but I know that you're also quite strict on your designs for your furniture design specifically, but also the kind of work that you do as an interior designer. Where was it also part of corporate teachings where you learned to be vocal, first of all, about, the kind of clients for yourself that you want, but also what you expect to get from your client, the brief that you expect to get from your client, but also that you've decided that you want to stick to a particular kind of look and feel when it comes
Yeah.
to, what you do. Was that also something that you learned from corporate, or was it just because of you being Noëlle that this is how you want to make sure that your business works out according to what you like and how you want things to work out?
I think it has been more about Noel more than anything. Because I think what shaped more of the kind of designs that I'm doing is also comes from how I used to rearrange, or how I used to view people's houses, and I'll get a cringe here and there that, oh, I wish this was set up this way. Uh, because I think for mostly for Black people, you walk into the houses, you find that it's a beautiful structure, you know, but then the interior is not done properly. There's too much clutter. Things are not organized properly. The color coordination is just not working out. The lines are not, flowing the way they should. And those are because I'm OCD. So those are some of the things that would actually bug me a lot. So much that I remember a time I walked into a a a, a friend's house, just after I qualified, actually, a friend of my mother. And um so I started talking about things that, like, you have a beautiful house. It was the first time I visited the house. I was like, Joe, Mama, you have a beautiful house. Because I actually call her Mama, but I actually call her Sissy, but she's Mama. So I said, Joe, Sissy, you have a beautiful house. Your house is big and it's beautiful. The structure is actually massive. Um, and the person who did the architectural work, knew what they were doing. But I wish you had put this there. I wish you put that there. And then she's like, you know what? Actually, your mother told me that you did interior design. Yeah, I said, yeah, I did interior design. And she's like, come, let me give you, I have some work for you. And that was actually my very, very first very first and also big paying project at the time. But trust me, I didn't even know how to charge for it. So you can imagine, but I did it, so well that she was so happy that the day I finished the work, I spent I think about 2 weeks in the house. The day I finished her work, she took me out and we went to a casino to celebrate.
Yeah.
That's how excited she was. So yeah, obviously my style is influenced by, you know, the fact that I love clean lines. I don't like clutter. I don't like things that don't communicate, or things that don't make sense in the house. Um, and I don't like to walk into a space that is beautiful, but you find the furniture is just not, you know, um, communicating, or it's just not well placed. And
Mm.
I know that there's some friends that are probably, I've got a friend of mine that's probably tuned in now that would tell you that, I every time I walk into an apartment, the first thing I tell her is that, I Choma, your curtains, you can't have an interior designer friend and you still own such curtains. It's actually a crime. So yeah.
Oh my, imagine having an interior designer friend, and every single time you meet up, she reminds you that, this is
No,
not
trust
working.
me, I will remind you, Tejo.
I'm
But in a
always
kind
going,
way, not in a manner to belittle you or anything, but in a fun and kind way. That please, when you have money, call me.
I then wonder what you're thinking about my background, but we'll talk about that off the line,
Nah,
please.
no, no, don't worry. Even my background is it's office, so it's okay. It's okay.
So, Noel, when you go into somebody's home, and some people may not understand that you actually need to be in that space, in their space for a long period of time, depending, of course, on the size of the house, to actually, see what you can do and how to best place things. And obviously, you also do furniture. So, how do you then approach your designs, and how does it differ with each project when it comes to what you want to do and how you want a space to look like?
So, what's important for me that is that I don't want to always bring in what Noëlle wants, Yes, I can walk into a space immediately. Within a second I walk in, I can tell you right away that I can feel already that this is how I would actually set up the space or redesign the space. However, remember, it's not about me at the end of the day. It's about the client. So this is why I do a client meetup where the client will actually call me into their house, and then I will sit down with them. I will listen to them. It's very important for me to listen to the client. When they have kids, it's actually even great to actually bring in the kids to say, how would you like your room? Your mom wants or your dad wants to redesign your room, or wants to make you new furniture in your room. How would you like, your room to look like? And then I let the kids in. But most importantly, the client is very important. Their lifestyle, how they see their space, but then obviously with me, giving them input and advice that, oh, I think this would work better here instead of there. And then they're like, and I actually show them the reasoning why, because things like lighting have an important they play an important role in a house. Things like, before you actually even put the furniture, how your lighting is done, what kind of lighting you have, which direction is your house facing, because some houses you find that they face a direction where they don't get enough sunlight, things like that. It makes the house look dark. The size of the space that I'm doing obviously also plays a huge role, where obviously I would have to use my creativity and my expertise to do a very good space planning. So I do quite a lot of it, an intensive space assessment, or before I actually redesign the house for the client. And when I present it to them, I can guarantee you that 10 out of 10 clients, probably about 9.5 have always accepted my design, and they're happy with what I've given them.
I mean, we're busy showing some of your work, and I mean, I don't know which person would say they're not happy with the work that you do, Noëlle, but I'm sure there are a few disagreements here and there with clients.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
I handle that with grace. Obviously, remember, some clients, when they come to me, they've already done their homework.
Mm.
Yes, so I respect that. They've done their homework. Others have actually gone out to look for things, to shop around for things that they would like to actually have in their house. So my role is not to say no, I can't do that. My role is to actually say this is how best we can do it, or this is how best we can actually redesign your space. But I actually don't necessarily want to put forward too many objections to say no, this will not work, I don't want this. Remember, I'm just an interior designer. I'm there to do my work, and I'm out. At the end of the day, it needs to be comfortable for you as a client, and it also needs to be functional for you as a client.
And I know that you don't just do home spaces, correct? Do you do office space as well?
Yes, I do hotels. I've done hotels. I've done commercial spaces like your retail space, your retail shops. I've done your restaurants. I've done obviously your residential houses. I've done normal professional office spaces. Yeah, I've done quite a lot. And most of my biggest clients, for example, in hospitality or in the hotel industry, the likes of Sun International. In some of my big clients in the corporate space are like your SA corporate. So yeah, I've actually served quite a lot. And when it comes to residential property or owners, I've done from um, low income to your high earners, and also served not only in South Africa but also SADC and other international spaces.
Look, I was hoping that we can touch on that international spaces, because when I say phenomenal woman, I'm really speaking about a phenomenal and eminent woman here. And we'll come back to that, Noëlle, because I definitely want us to speak about the international spaces and going out into SADC. I've watched your work, and it really has been so impressive how you've been able to break that particular barrier and go out. But let me just get through some of the comments that we have. If you've just joined us, we are live conversations with Eminent Women. Joining us is Noëlle Makhaukane Ngobeni. She is the founder. She's the head designer of Quatre, Saisons Interior Designs. And she is interior designs and furniture, just by the way, to our lovely audience that has joined us this afternoon. And of course, we're speaking to her about the work that she's done, how she got to be such an interior designer, but also to get to the point where she is at the moment. Taking a look at some of your comments, Zandile Gambule says, my mentor, best boss I ever had. I learn a lot from her daily. I have grown and I have learned a lot on how to make top-notch furniture. And I also want us to speak a little bit about that furniture, Noëlle, and we'll get into that shortly. That's just one comment from, I suppose, one of the ladies, like you said, that you are seeing an interest from young people who actually want to, come through and actually really just learn a bit from you. Let's talk about your furniture. You don't just do interior designing, you also make furniture. And something that people may not know is that you make the furniture in South Africa. Share with us a little bit about that particular journey. I know that you're often at the factory as well, speaking to your staff. Let's talk about that furniture making journey as well and how you've incorporated it into your interior design business.
Yeah, so sure. How it came about is when I was doing when I did my first few projects, I would find that people would actually want to go and buy furniture from your normal, I'll say, departmental furniture stores. But then some of the things you find that they actually don't fit to the space. You find that they actually don't, make the space what I envisioned it to be. So that's when I actually started, doing quite a lot of research on furniture production. And that was already when I was in business. So I actually did quite a lot of research. I looked around. I checked around who's doing furniture where, who can customize furniture. Before I actually had my own factory, I would actually go around and look for people who make furniture in South Africa. So I found few and I spoke to them and I told them my vision and the things that I would want, the kind of quality or the kind of workmanship quality that I want to have. And I was lucky enough to actually get, few South Africans and one Ugandan guy that I worked with in the beginning. So yeah, we actually, manufactured, very beautiful masterpiece kind of furniture with them. But obviously, some of the people, when you tell them this is how I want it, my quality not compromised. I remember at some point, one of my suppliers at the time would say, "Hey, because he had a big team of about 2 or 3 people, and whenever I take a brief to him, he'd be like, "Hey, guys, ningayenzi into ebhedayo for uNoëlle lana, otherwise I'm going to kill you." So, yeah, and it's very important. It was very important for them to understand, the kind of things that I'm looking for. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and then and that's when I started. Then eventually I decided to open my own factory, and I also then invited some few young graduate architectural designers and also interior architect that I work with on a freelance basis. So sometimes you find that some clients have actually designed a furniture piece from scratch. Where someone says, you know what, I'm looking for a couch. I don't know how it looks like. I've not seen it anywhere else, but I want my couch to have something like this on the side. I want it to have this long seat. I want it to have this kind of backing. I want it to have this kind of legs. Then I'll say, look, obviously, to make sure that we give that client exactly what they want, I'll take the full briefing as it is, go sit down, do my own research, come out with the sketching of according to what they've given me, and then I'll then appoint my some of my interior architect to say, look, I've got a job for you. You know, can you do it? Can you design this? And I give them a brief and I give them a sketch, and they'll actually do it, give me the drawing exactly as I've envisioned. And once the client approves, then we then manufacture that furniture from scratch. Oh. And the client will be happy. Yeah. Yeah.
You also mentioned, Noëlle, that you've done a bit of work in SADC. You've also broken the international barriers and done some work internationally as well. What was that feeling like for you when you got that first call from one of the international companies or one of the SADC countries or companies, and they were like, listen, we've seen your work, we want you to come and do something for us as well. What was that initial feeling like, and how have you then been able to maintain those relationships and continue to grow your brand internationally?
Sure. Obviously, and this is all thanks to a lot of my clients. I didn't get to be serving, international clients and SADC clients because of my own doing, It's been my clients, the clients that I've served locally in South Africa, they're travelers, they are global citizens. So wherever they're going, they will speak about me, they will speak about my work, they will share my work, and people will see my work and they'll be really intrigued, and they'll be like, no, what, please give us her contact, would like to work with her. And and that's when I actually started getting quite a lot of inquiries from countries like Uganda, Ghana, Lesotho, Mozambique. I've done work in Mozambique, done work in Ghana, I've done work in Botswana, I've done work in Zimbabwe as well. In Lesotho. And I've also done work in where I have a client who came over to me, and she's based in Switzerland. And it was obviously a joy for me, like, yay! To actually have someone coming that far to say, you know what, Sisi, I really admire your work. I'm actually from South Africa. I would love to use your services. Can you do 1, 2, 3 for me? And they trust me enough that from far away as they were, they would, I'll give them a quotation and they will confidently pay me the fee without having to worry that, you know what, I want to come and see where you work before I give you my money kind of vibes. So yeah, it's that whole trust as well, but also it also depends on, it's also about the kind of clients that I've served, because they go out and speak so well about my work that it's easy for people to trust me. I remember there was another client, she was a huge global traveler, and she will be globetrotting all over the world. She bought a property in South Africa, and she said, you know what, I'm gonna be in South Africa for only just a few days. I want to meet up with you. I've got a property. I want you to do that property for me. So we met up, went to the house. It was a 3-bedroom house. And she's like, this is what I want, but I would trust you to do the work. How much will it cost? I said, okay, give me time. I'll have to obviously do the assessment. She says, no, Sissy, I don't have time. I have to go somewhere else now. Can I leave you with the house keys? That was a shock to me, that leave me with your house keys? You don't even know me. She's like, don't worry, relax. I trust your work. My friends speak so well about you. So here's the keys to the house. You can come and access. I'll let the security know you can come and access my house at any time, and they'll let you in and do your work. Tell me how much it will cost. I'll wire the payment, and then you will do the installation. Send me pictures when the work is done. So that kind of trust speaks volume for me, because then it also actually made me to realize that I need to elevate myself, that, you know, it means so much for me to actually have clients who trust me with their one, with their space, and two, with their money as well.
Mm. We are in
Yeah.
conversation this afternoon with Noëlle Makhaukane Ngobeni. She is an interior designer. She also makes her own furniture now for the spaces that she does the designs for. And Noëlle, I wonder, how do you keep up with the demand, with the request from various clients, to do what you do for them, but also when you have those dry months, what do you do then?
Yes, there are a lot of dry months, but it's not actually the most of the dry months are actually, you know, your winter season. But what I do is because most of my work it spends, you know, it's not something that I do overnight. Tomorrow I deliver. So you find that, you know, there's work that I've quoted maybe 6 months ago, or I've quoted the client 2 years ago even. I actually even have clients that I've quoted, you know, a year or 2 years ago, and they come back and say, look, I am now ready. How much now would it cost for you to do the work? You know, um and that's when I actually it covers up a bit on the dry season. You find that I'm not too busy, but I still do have work that I'm doing. Yeah, so but what I also do is that I use my downtime. I call it my downtime. I don't want to call it dry, because once you call it dry, it will be dry. I want to be positive about it. I call it my downtime. So I use my downtime to actually, do research, uh, to network, to market myself, to look at what other people are doing, and also when I do the travel, I make sure that you know, I meet up with, I travel to countries where I can see what other countries are doing out there in
Mhm.
my space.
And
Yeah.
I was going to ask you indeed about keeping, up to track with the trends that there are when it comes to
Yeah.
interior design, to furniture making, and also, the issue of technologies, what changes, even with interior design. I'm sure there's technology that changes there as well, Noëlle. How do you ensure that, whatever you give to your client is the latest kind of design and trend?
I the you know it's if I can tell you that most of my clients don't follow trends.
Hmm. Eh,
Most of my, I would say majority of my clients really don't follow trends in terms of furniture. They follow, they are looking for quality. They are
mhm,
looking for um furniture that will last them. They are looking for uh um uh furniture pieces that actually can speak, to them, furniture pieces that actually would fit into their space, where it will not annoy them in the next 5 or 10 years. So this is where I come in. I say, and it's my responsibility to also educate, to say, look, there's this trend that is, someone will come. If I would have to have a client will come to me and say, I've seen this, and I like this. I'll actually tell them, look, it's not long lasting. I'll give my advice. Obviously, it's not long lasting. You will have it today. It will look nice for the gram, but do you want to spend for the gram, or do you want to spend your money just for something that you will value for the next years to come? Something that you will be proud of, and your children will be, can actually still use even years to come when you're no longer here. So it's very important for me, that I build furniture that, almost outlives you. um, yeah. So longevity for me is very important, more than just the trend.
mhm. We are in conversation. That's the voice of Noëlle Makhaukane Ngobeni from Quatre, Saisons Interior Design and Furniture. And of course, do send through your comments or questions that you may have for Noëlle this afternoon as we, delve deeper into the woman that she is, the business woman that she is, right here on Conversations with Eminent Women. Send through those comments, questions that you may also have for her. Let us hear what you have to say. And Noëlle, I'm telling you, people, Tonga Man says much love. And, I just love also the love that you're getting from Black people. I think most of the time we often hear about, how the services that you'll get from a Black company is not the best, and people then prefer not to use Black companies. But I've seen, with your work, a lot of people saying that they love your work, that, like you've said yourself as well, that it spreads out, that a lot of your clients are also sharing that information. So how, that standard that you have now created, maintaining it must be something else, to say to the Black person, I'm your go-to person for interior design. Don't go to the typical white, female or male interior designer. That, how maintaining that standard, how important is it for you, and how do you keep doing it?
I think for me, it's also because I speak to I speak I'm quite vocal, I'm quite vocal on social, so people actually get to know my about my work, and most of the people will be like, you know what, Noëlle, I see your work, it's beautiful. I may not have the money now, but I've saved your numbers. And the day I have the money, I'll come and buy. And I know those are my people. I've had clients who actually um would actually refer my work as if they've used my services. And when they've never bought from me, they speak so well about me. So I think for me, that's also very important that I actually interact. But also, the one thing that I also do is that I educate, because I know that um, education goes a long way, and I would then educate my clients about, the best way, how to do your curtains, what to do in winter, what to do in summer, what colors to use, and all of that. In my private space, on one-on-one with my clients, whether they buy from me or not, I'll still educate them, you know because I know that with the information that I would have given them, they will take it with them. That they will either go and apply it somewhere, or they can come back to me and say, look, Noëlle, you once told me that for example, you once told me that if I were to buy a leather couch, it has to be full grain leather. Um, so since then, I've been wanting to buy a leather couch, but I don't have the money for full grain, because when I look around, there isn't many people who do full grain leather. You find that they do full grain only where you're sitting on the sitting part, and at the back it's the vinyl or the UP leather. And then they will then come back and say, look, I've now saved up. I would like to buy, and because they know the importance of that kind of quality of leather and how long it's gonna last them. So yes, education has been one of the um, um, things that I do well whenever I interact with my clients. So for me, it's not only just about making my money and out. It's also about, please understand what you're buying. Don't just buy for the sake of, oh, I have a few 100,000 in my account. I want to do my bed. I want to redo my lounge or my bedroom. Let me go spend the money. But also understand that, what are you bringing into your house, the quality, the kind of workmanship that will outlast you. That's
Mhm.
very important for me.
And so, you know, you speak about winter, you speak about summer, what we need to be doing with our curtains, what we need to be doing with this and that. Noel, I mean, some people, we just live, hey? Every season, we just continue with what we have. We'll wash our curtains, make sure that they're clean. So perhaps give us a few tips. How do things change, or how should things change in one's home between the two, between the seasons, you know, the 4 seasons that we have in South Africa? How should we be changing the interior of our homes?
And it's and you know, it's actually has nothing to do with going to buying new things. You know,
Mm,
it's about how also you position your furniture. It's also got to do initially with the kind of lighting that you have. It's also got to do with the kind of fittings that you have. You know, for example, you know, people will be like, you know, my bedroom is so cold, you know, it never gets warm, even even when I have my 15 blankets on top of me on a freezing winter. Then I would actually advise them the kind of bedding that they have to buy, you know. You know, it's not just about having bedding that's colorful or that this and that, but it's also the kind of your inner that your duvet inner that you have, you know. For example, like right now, even if it's the coldest of winter, my bed is just a duvet inner, the duvet cover, and probably just one, actually not probably, only one blanket all the time. I never have more than that, you know, and a flat sheet. So also how you layer your bed is also very important, you know. Layer your bed underneath, you know, your mattress, meaning your mattress need to be covered, you need to have a mattress protector, you need to have a warmer cover to it so that it brings warmth to your body. So your body actually your body adjusts to the environment where you put it in. If you put your body in a cold environment, you feel cold the whole night, you know. Um, and also, you know, when it comes to curtains, it's also the color of choice. The color choices also play an important role, but also the window where the windows are facing. And I remember there was a client who was who wanted to build a house, or firstly, sorry, to actually design a house. As I told them that, look, you actually are in the best space right now. The land that you've bought is like this and that, but however, make sure that your bedrooms are facing this direction. All your bedrooms need to be fixed in a certain direction, that you can actually get the max, because of the kind of area where they were, you know, where they can get maximum sun exposure into the room, so that they know that the whole sun, as it rises and it sets, it, you know, it's facing that the bedrooms. And that's where you actually, because remember, at night the temperature drops, you know,
mhm.
automatically. So when it drops, you don't feel it, because already your house has contained that kind the warmth that the sun has given you throughout the day. So some of the things, you know, you can avoid them by such, you know, how you face, where you face, which directions you face your bedrooms, because that's where you spend your nights, and where when the night gets younger, then this way you actually feel colder. So yeah, and those elements are very important, but also your paint choices are very important, as I mentioned, as well as your lighting.
So, you know, I know that recently, Noel, you were part of an expo. I don't want to give out too much because I want you to share that with us. Give us details about the expo that you went to and just that experience, you know, for more eyes to see the work that you do.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, do you want me to mention it or not? It was actually a surprise. Um, it was something that I least expected. I had someone who knows my work, who's seen my work, and who has access to giving me, free visibility to attend and be an exhibitor at the expo, at the Indaba. So they actually put up my name, and they put up my name before they could even ask me, actually. And then when she came to me, she's like, you know what, Sissy, I put up your name. I've actually nominated you. I put up your name. Just send me your profile. Um, and I sent them the profile, and then they said, "Oh, it's been approved. So it's been pre-approved. Please send us your logo." I'm like, "Okay." But Sissy, I did not plan to go to the Indaba because I don't have the funds right now to pay for the Indaba. And they said, "No, don't worry. I'm not asking you to pay anything. Just give me what I'm asking you for. It will be fully sponsored by the presidency of South Africa." So yeah, that's how I got it.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
been a really wonderful exposure for me. It's been a massive, massive exposure for me. The network, that I got to interact with, the kind of people that I got to actually meet up at the expo, phenomenal, and also being in that space for me actually has made me to realize that there's still a lot of work that I need to do um, for my business, because that actually exposed me to quite a lot of um, things that I was not aware of within South Africa, in my industry. Yeah.
And I suppose you learn, right? You learn
Yeah.
every single day when it comes to the kind
Yeah.
of work that you do. But I think for every South African, it really will always be a learning curve, whatever it is that people do. But for young women, Noëlle, who actually want to go into the interior design space, what word of advice would you give them? What's the one thing that they must always keep in mind with such an industry?
Be yourself. It's very important, because there's quite a, remember, there's a lot of things that are going on out there. you know be consistent, with what you want. Be consistent with what the kind of clients you want to actually attract. Be consistent with the the um, the way how you serve your clients, and professionalism, and also relationships are very important. It's not just about making the buck, make your Benjamins and then you leave, but also relationships are very important, especially in this business. Relationships are like, I'll actually, if I were to put relationships and money, I'll put relationships on the top, on the number one list, more than the money that you make. Because when you build great relationships with people, with your suppliers will tell people about you. When you build great relationships with your clients will tell people about you. When you do phenomenal work, it will speak for itself. So be consistent, and make sure that you actually don't uh, just serve for the sake of making the money, and run, but serve because you're looking for a long-term partnership, a long-term relationship, and collaborate. There's nothing wrong with collaboration, and that's another thing that some people are afraid of doing. Yes, do your homework before you collaborate. Don't just collaborate with anyone, because some people will come and collaborate with you just to ruin your brand. So make sure that you do your homework before you collaborate with people. So yeah, collaboration is very important. That's one of the things that I did so well when I started. I collaborated with quite a lot of people, that so much that, people who are in the same space as me, who are also interior designers, who get clients, and they're like, you know what, I think the best person to serve you will be Noëlle, not myself. I get those people. I get people who will be like, you know what, Sisi, you inspire me so much. I've started my business 5 years ago. Now I have this client. You're actually the one who inspired me to go and gun for big clients. But now I have these big clients and I don't know what to do with them because I don't have the experience. And can you please come and work with me? Yeah. So it's one of those things that I actually I've done so well, and do right by people. When you do right by people, they will do right by you. That's how you can't give the universe negative energy and negative vibes, and you expect to draw out the positive things. So you give it your best, it will give you back everything that you've given it
I
in
absolutely
multiple times. Yeah.
I love that. Give it your best and it will come back to you in multiples. We've got
Yeah.
one more comment that I want us to close off with this afternoon. Conversations with Eminent Women. And Lerato Finisa says, beautiful work, Noëlle. And I totally agree. Beautiful work indeed. So, Noëlle, what we are trying to do on Conversations with Eminent Women is to build a network of amazing women, let them come together, get to know each other, have conversations, but also learn from each other. So how can people get in touch with you or reach out to you, those that may need work done in their homes?
We have a Facebook page, and we also have, I just want to give the correct link. So we have what we call a bio link. So a bio link will take you to, sorry, just a little bit. Yeah. So I'm just trying to open it quickly. So our bio link will actually take you to all our sorry, it's taking long. Just for a second.
No problem. That's Noëlle in our frame there this afternoon. She's, of course, been on Conversations with Eminent Women. Do remember that if there's somebody else that you'd like for us to speak to that's doing phenomenal work, do let us know. You can send us a comment or, of course, also reach out to me on my social media platforms. I'm on X, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I'll soon hopefully be on Twitter, on TikTok as well. So you can reach out to me there as well. But of course, we are looking forward to more of such conversations as we build our network of eminent women, right? Our conversations with eminent women. You sorted, Noëlle?
Yeah, yes, I'm sorted. So our bio link, this is the link that actually takes you to all our contacts, our social media pages, everywhere where we have presence. It's bio link, it's bio.link at QUATRESAISONSHQ. So it's biolink, sorry, it's bio.link / Saisons HQ.
All right.
So
And of course,
I'll send it to you as well so that you can also have it, and you can share it on your podcast.
please do indeed. Thank you so much, Noëlle, for your time and truly appreciate it. All the best with all else that you'll be doing and all the other big clients and the big names that you'll also be getting. And thanks for indeed joining us on Conversations with Eminent Women.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
That is Noëlle Makhaukane Ngobeni. She is the head interior designer at Quatre Saisons Interior Design and furniture, speaking to us there about the kind of work that she does, but also just how she's, you know, broken those barriers, going out into the SADC region, into international as well, right here on Conversations with Eminent Women. All right, let's do it again next week. You know it, at 12 midday, Conversations with Eminent Women with myself, Tshegohaco Moagi. And remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Have yourselves a fabulous afternoon further. And like I always say, please do be kind and protect your peace. Bye-bye.